Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Monday night live stream. We got a quick one to go over, so let's just jump right into it. So today, everybody's excited because it sounds like the U.S. government is going to reopen, but not so fast. There's a couple of things that we have to pass through, and I'm going to let Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, tell you exactly what those are. This is about a minute or so in length. Let me make sure you can actually hear this perfectly in the right tone. Take a listen to what Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has to say here.
The Senate's vote late last night of 60 to 40 opens the door now. The Senate is moving forward on an amended House CR, continuing resolution, that will reopen the government until January 30th. Added to that are provisions to fully fund SNAP provisions through the end of the next fiscal year, which is September 2026, guaranteed back pay for all federal workers who have been made to endure these hardships over the last several weeks. And it also includes passage of 3 appropriations bills, which we're grateful to be moving through the process. That is the Military Construction Veterans Affairs bill, it's the Agriculture bill, and the Legislative Branch bill. The Senate will be back in session this morning to finish their job, and we're certainly praying that they do. They'll need unanimous consent from all senators to fast-track their final vote. As you know, there are some procedural hurdles that one or more could throw in the way, but we certainly hope that they won't do that, because so many people across this country are desperate for the government to reopen. At the very moment that they do that final vote, I will call all House members to return to Washington as quickly as possible. We'll give a 36-hour formal and official notice so that we can vote as soon as possible to pass the amended CR bill and get it to the president's desk. As you all know, and he said as recently as—
Okay, great. So Mike Johnson is essentially saying this like this: the Senate was able to pass things, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you're taking a look at it, it has to go back to the House of Representatives. And because of that, there could be a little bit of a time frame issue. There could also be a problem with it actually going through, because it has to go through the lower parts, which is the House of Representatives. And right now, there is a majority of Republicans over Democrats, a 219-213 split. They do not need a supermajority to pass this resolution or to pass the funding bill to get the government back open. They just need 50% plus one more vote to push it through. The problem is that if the bill that had been come through by the Senate, if the House or even the senators do any kind of changes to it, it has to keep going back and forth and gets bounced back and forth. So if it goes to the House and they say, you know what, there's this one provision I really like, I want to make sure that we actually change this because my constituents want this, this, and this, then it has to all be redone by the Senate and it has to go back to the House and goes back and forth. So we'll see if it actually comes through and if they're listening to the American people or not. But because of that, we had a nice little rally today. It looks like Bitcoin touched 106K. I thought it was quite interesting, though, because we saw a little bit more of an altcoin jump, more so than Bitcoin per se. And I thought we'd have more of a pump because this was historically speaking, the longest shutdown of the U.S. government in existence. So I thought we'd have a little bit more, but apparently not. So the question then becomes, how are we going to gamble on this? No, I'm just kidding. But it is interesting to see like people go to Polymarket, my friend Bobby, and so on and so forth, just take a look at when will the government shutdown end. So if you thought it would be like November 8th to 11th, because today I think we're at the 10th or so. If that's the case, and you know that the House of Representatives are going to come back, I don't know why anybody would vote for November 8th through 11th. That's not going to happen. November 12th to 15th looks like 89%, and Polymarket is pretty spot on usually. November 16 plus was 7%. So we'll see where it all comes down to. Hopefully we get the government back up and running. The SNAP beneficiaries and with their EBT cards, looks like that's rolling out very quickly and everybody's getting their food back on the table. And it looks like hopefully the air traffic controllers will be going back so we can stop getting everything kind of shut down. And hopefully the most important thing is our bags get pumped. So we'll see what happens as time goes on. But remember, there's some funny things that could happen in between the Senate and the House, and if they do any kind of changes. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And also, there's a little bit of a back and forth about what we call like I guess you'd call like a tariff stimmy checks. And this all comes from a post over at Truth Social from Donald Trump. And he states a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, which is all of you, will be paid to everyone. Which, you know, you take a look at this, you're like, hey, more stimulation checks or stimmy checks. That's pretty good. But Scott Bessent came on over on, what was this, ABC, and just pretty much set the record straight, which, yeah, even though we talk about stimmies and Trump was saying that, don't let that fool you. And this could be another reason for why we've had a little bit of a pump today. But just to lay this out there, as far as what's really happening, that's probably not going to happen whatsoever. So take a listen to Scott Bessent as he pretty much says this ain't happening.
You know, it could, the $2,000 dividend could come in lots of forms, in lots of ways, George. You know, it could be just the tax decreases that we are seeing on the president's agenda. You know, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans. So, you know, those are substantial deductions that, you know, are being financed in the tax bill.
Yeah, it's not happening. So, I mean, maybe it does. I mean, Trump wants to do it the one way. But again, stimmy checks are a pretty great way to pump the market. We'll see how it is. However, how does that mean for you? Well, I got to tell you, there was this post. I thought maybe this could actually work out. Adam states, this is the literal definition of free money. And here's exactly how you finesse it. You bet $2,000 on yes. And this is on Polymarket, on the $2,000 Trump dividend. If it hits, you walk out with $16,000 profit because no one thinks it's going to go through. But if it doesn't hit, you lose your $2K, but then Trump gives you $2,000 anyway. Either way, you win risk-free. I thought that was a pretty funny thing to look at it. I mean, obviously, I don't want you to do that. That's ridiculous. But I just was like, well, you get free money, and that's what it all comes down to. But no, that's not how it is. And then finally, before we get into a little Q&A, Kazakhstan. I know I don't talk about Kazakhstan a lot because nothing's really going on, but this was interesting. Kazakhstan set to launch a $1 billion national crypto reserve by 2026, and the person behind it may be CZ. So here's what we have. Central Bank Governor Timur Suleimanov nailed it. Said that the fund's investments will include ETFs and shares of companies involved with digital currencies. Not its digital currencies per se, but involved with digital currencies. It will be very careful about direct exposure to crypto, he states. So maybe there will be a little introduction to that. The fund is expected to be launched by early 2026, which is why people are thinking that we're going to see a big blow off top, but who knows? The central bank is also considering investing portions of its gold and foreign exchange reserves, as well as national fund assets in this crypto-related investments. Now, where are they going to get these crypto? The same place the U.S. government got it. The fund could gather assets from seized crypto wallets and tokens mined through state-run operations. Well, that's a pretty easy thing. Just pretty much take that away from the bad people or the good people. I don't know what happened. And just kind of hold on to that and become hodlers. And then you can have your own little crypto asset reserve. And the funny thing was, the CZ posted this. This is new photo from the day. Honored to meet with President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. Nailed it. Again, 3 years later, lots of progress in Kazakhstan. Binance licensed. I mean, they have their clause and everything. Stablecoin KZTX. Stablecoin, interesting. And crypto reserve will include BNB or Binance chain and much more. And then he says over here, I might have contributed a tiny bit to Kazakhstan's launching of 1 billion crypto reserve fund moving forward. So congratulations to CZ. I know he's gotten a lot of bad press, specifically on October 10th and the travesty that was happening as far as the liquidations. But hey, not everybody's perfect, and at least he did something good. Fantastic. And then lastly, speaking of kind of good people, Brian Armstrong, I guess they're going to launch a sales platform. Essentially, this is for retail investors, but this is like a launch pad that Coinbase is going to do for everybody, American citizens. If you don't remember, back in 2021, we had a bunch of these different launches of different crypto and different assets, and you couldn't really get into them, especially if you're an American, because that wasn't allowed. But accredited investors could do whatever they wanted to. Unfortunately, a lot of venture capitalists just did a bunch of pump and dumps. So I don't know how this is going to work with Coinbase, but they're doing token launches. They're going to have to actually go under the SEC ruling. So we'll see how this works out. Kind of interesting. But that's it for today. So look, like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. We talk about it's time sensitive. Now let's get into a little Q&A, answer all your questions, and we'll go from there. All right. Penguin says, Brian Armstrong is a scammer who is bald. Well, first of all, I don't think he's a scammer. I think he's a very smart guy. I think he's done a lot of good things. He's actually moved things along as far as congressionally and laws and bills and going up to talk to Congress about all the things that have to do with crypto. And he's done a pretty good job in that regard. And he's not been perfect in Coinbase. I kind of find it odd that a multi-billion-dollar company still goes down all the time, but you know, whatever. I still say not everybody's perfect. Some people are good, some people are bad, but I think he's doing the best he possibly can for the industry. We'll see. And Krantz is right. Just stick with Bitcoin. Makes things a lot easier. It does, but sometimes you want a little something else, right? You can't have salad every single day for the rest of your life. It gets quite boring. Sometimes you want to throw in a little, I don't know, chicken cacciatore or something and have something more entertaining for you to eat. Same thing with altcoins. We'll see. Meme says Aave is pumping. Great. Kazakhstan is a leader in Bitcoin mining. They have money. That's right. It's a good point. Bodan says it. And more Chainlink. Is in place. Very nice. Red Penguin also says CZ is a scammer, but I have faith in him and the market makers to bring out the biggest alt season soon. Yeah, let's hope so. Let's see. The pardon only cost him helping with Trump's $2 billion crypto scam. I don't know. Seth Shepard says, why are there two streams on my end? There was a new configuration with the platform that I use, and it allowed me to stream in widescreen and then in portrait mode. I don't know how that actually works. I just said, let's give that a whirl. And right now, some of you are seeing this in like this portrait, kind of like TikTok version, I guess. And then some of you are seeing this in widescreen. So just depends on what device you're on pretty much. If you're on your cell phone, probably get into portrait mode. If you're in some other, like your laptop or you have your phone to the side, probably in widescreen. I don't know. I'm not the tech guy. Let's see. Red Penguin says CZ will be forgiven if he helps create the big alt season. It's amazing how money does that to people. You know, like, you know, I remember like Sam Bankman-Fried was like the greatest thing of all time. He was on the cover of Forbes 30 Under 30, and everybody loved him. And then he bankrupted a bunch of people, and everybody hated his guts. However, before that, for the alt, and if he would have been able to get everything through, they still would have loved him. But he wasn't able to do that, and these are the things that happen. Let's see. Enzo says video looks blurry. Blurry video. Is this live? It is live. Okay. Well, I think it's probably because like I'm splitting between widescreen and portrait. So we'll know for next time. Let's see. Oh, wow. Everybody's really... Let's see. Let me ask you. The video quality is very bad for me somehow, even though I have decent internet. So I have to ask everybody right now. Are you watching this? If you have bad, I guess like it would be the bad stream or poor quality of the video itself. Are you watching in widescreen, which is like standard for YouTube, or are you watching in portrait mode where it's like straight up and down? Let me know in the comment section. I would like to know that so I can go back to my platform and say, hey, I know this is new, but you guys got to fix this. See what they say. Okay, that's not the issue. So it's not the issue on mine for streaming, but that's just what it is. All right. Yeah. It says the dual streaming is making your stream blurry. All right. I had a portrait on my TV, not ideal, as you know. Money makes people happy, very true. But you know what? I mean, if the video quality is bad, that's okay. As long as the audio quality is good. I'm on my TV, it's still vertical. I'm seeing a blurry mode. Emotions run high. Don't do poetry anymore. Okay. Good to know. Well, I got to tell you, though, this is great for comments because I got to, you know what? I'm going to stream like this for the rest of the time I'm here. This is great. I get nothing but comments about, and actually relatively positive stuff. This is good. That's what you have to do, I suppose. All right. Quality is like 64 by 64 pixels. Holy smokes. Is that for, well, probably is for, let's see what this looks like. Huh, it's crazy. Like I'm looking at the quality on my side. It looks pretty good, but who's going to hear you? Look, I'd say like half of the people that watch my show don't even watch the screen. They just do, just listen to it while driving home after a commute from work or doing other things in the background. That's okay. Seth says, can we just talk about crypto? Yes, we can. Question from Shane. Do you think the tariff check would outweigh the insurance premium hikes for the crypto market? Something I want to talk to everybody about. I'm curious. If you follow me on X, I put out a poll this morning. I want to know what everybody's premiums are or how much they pay per month for their insurance. Now, when I did this, I had about 500 or so people respond and go through the questionnaire, the poll. And from, I would say, let me just pull it up right now, actually. A lot of you are outside the United States because the government pays for your insurance. Well, the government doesn't pay for you for free. Obviously, you pay for that because that's what taxes are for, right? But let me bring this up. Not that you can see it because it's all blurry. Oh, wow, look at that. It is very blurry. Wow, that's pretty bad. Oh, well. Man, is my head that big? I guess it is. All right, so let's see here. Okay. So the question I had is, how much do you pay for health insurance? Has it covered your medical expenses for the last 5 years? And 27% said that the government pays for everything. So obviously you guys are outside the US. I'm thinking Canada, EU, that type of thing. But for the rest of you, 34% pay only $100 to $500 a month. It's pretty good. $515 a month, 28%, and 10% pay $1,500 to $5,000 a month. The reason why I ask is because there's alternatives I want to start talking about. Because, like the question from Shane, do you think the tariff check would outweigh the insurance premium hikes for the crypto market? First of all, I don't understand for these ACA, for the fees and Obamacare that came through. Again, I don't want to make this a political show because it's not. But the only thing I've seen for insurance is the rates just go up and up and up every single year. And I worked in the medical industry for 2 decades. And I never understood why everything just had to keep increasing because it wasn't like the care was that much better. I'm here to tell you, sorry. And it's not like America moved up for level of care and longevity. Actually, they went down. So I'm just wondering, I'm like, what are we paying these insurance companies for and so much money through taxpayer dollars? It's like we have to supplement the insurance companies to keep raising the rates, and it keeps going to them. I'm like, why do we pay that? And then when I was a director for a nationwide home healthcare company, and we would just have battles and battles and battles with these insurance companies. It wasn't Medicare and Medicaid. What was an issue was the private pay insurance, which just sucked. And every single year it would like get harder and harder, and they would pay less and less to us. I'm like, aren't we paying more for them? Anyhow, for all these things, I just think there's a better way for insurance because the insurance right now is awful. Anyhow, do you think the tariff check would outweigh the insurance premiums? Probably not. My question is like, if the government pays to subsidize these insurance rates, why don't we just give it to the people and they can do whatever they want with it? Right? So like, it'd be like if you're paying $2,000 a month, right? But you're like, thankfully, I only pay $2,000 a month because the government subsidizes it because it's supposed to be $3,000, right? So they give the $1,000 right to the insurance company. What if they just give it to you? And then you pay these insurance companies. Okay, this is the bill of $3,000. Well, good news, I got $1,000 in my checking account extra. I can pay you the $3,000. Seems like it goes into like a black hole or something. I just don't trust those guys ever. Yeah, Master Blaster, that's a lot. I paid $13.33 a month. Yeah, and the healthcare is low quality. Like the people that perform the healthcare, I mean, they're doing the best they possibly can. They're good people, I mean, for the most part. But just the amount that we get reimbursed is just robbery. Andrew says, I pay nothing in Canada. You know, I was talking to somebody about this exact same thing. The insurance for Canada, I mean, of course, it comes through taxes and it's good. And I asked them, I said, well, how long does it take to get like a referral? And that could be any kind of diagnostic procedure as well. And we're talking about labs, MRIs, ultrasounds, those type of things. And they said that relatively quick. They said they were within about a month or so to get them. That's not too bad. Because I hear stories about Canada, how hard it is. But some people say it's actually quite easy. Wow. My wife is only 38 and she pays $700. Puerto Rico has universal health care, right? Oh, no, it does not. It's pay to play. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I pay $900 a month for the family. Wow, that's pretty good, Enzo. That's really good. $900 a month. And given an investable health savings account, that's a good one. Tax deductible. In Florida, I'm 59. It's reasonable rates. Well, actually, no, I take that back. 1333 by 59 is kind of crazy. Wow. $1,300 Australia a year and Aussie in Australia. Man. No wonder everybody wants to get rich. They got to pay for insurance. Let's see. Bitcoin radio. I guess you're near Logan and Jake in Puerto Rico. No. Those guys live in Condado. That's in like the super rich, like whitewashed part of Puerto Rico. I live in Guaynabo, and it's great. Yeah, that's right. TRICARE is free for us single folks in the Army. That's right. Let's see. All right. Let's not go down that rabbit hole too much longer, shall we? Any other questions about crypto digital assets? PR has universal potholes. Yeah, exactly. And the crazy thing about potholes in Puerto Rico is they always come out at night. You'll know what I mean if you live there. Yeah, as long as the voice is clear. Are you saying that insurance companies are dishonest? No, I'm not saying. Actually, yes. And they're not dishonest. They're honest when they deny everything that you want to put through. Because, you know, do you really need that procedure? Do you need that medication? Do we have to go with the non-generic formulation? I think we can get by with something cheaper. Yeah. So Bitcoin, it must be gated where you're at, or no? Will there be a blow off top? At some point, I would hope so. There's two ways of thinking about this, and we talked about this with Jerry yesterday. We did a comparison between gold and its ETF time frame, which is in 2004, and we took a look at the returns from 2005 to 2024. And those first, like, I want to say, let me just pull it up. I want to say the first 7 years, maybe 5. 1, 2. Hopefully you can see this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See me the first, 9 if you count 2004. The first 9 years after the ETF, it was nothing but positive numbers for gold. Now, there wasn't like a blow off top, and Bitcoin has these blow off tops because it goes down 87%, 85%, 77%. So it has that compressibility, and everything just kind of like just collapses, and it gets back to the base, which is the all-time high, and then it goes way beyond that. We saw that in 2013, 2017, 21, and a little bit in 2025. But if we don't have like these massive down draws of Bitcoin, then maybe we won't have the enormous blow off tops. So we don't go down maybe 85% anymore. Maybe we just go down 30%. But that means that on the inverse, to go up, we don't get the blow off tops. not as fun as you remember, right? So we'll see how it goes. Is Bitcoin going to follow the gold ETF, just like Bitcoin had its ETF in 2024? Remains to be seen. But things are playing out differently, and we can all see it this cycle. Yeah. Rob, your graphics are good, but your camera's reducing low resolution. Yeah, that's, who knows what that is. Maybe that's just the new formulation for this portrait or widescreen. Who knows? So iron, hey, base. So iron and wood said, so bear market could be less of a drop. It could, but then you don't have like the big blow off tops. And then of course, you don't have that, then everything goes sideways and choppy, and people aren't as excited about it. So now what people could say, Bitcoin to 1 million. Well, maybe. But you won't have the excitement of that, what it is. However, I will say, if there's less volatility, that would be good for us, because then we can finally say, hey, Bitcoin's a pretty good hedge against inflation. People aren't buying that hedge against inflation talk when you're going down, 20, 30%. They don't say much about it when it goes up, 200, 300%, like we've seen maybe over the last 3-4 years. They don't care about that. They just care about it as going down. So if the volatility decreases, maybe you can make the argument that it's a hedge against inflation. And of course, it's very difficult to tell people it's a hedge against inflation, but you got to hold it for 4 years. Like, that doesn't really help me, especially if I'm living paycheck to paycheck. It's a whole thing. What are you going to do? We know what it is, right? Invest in ETFs in the bear. My deep thought for the night, something's coming, we just don't know what or when. Yeah. And everybody's out here guessing too. Will you be jumping into your new Olympic-sized pool when Bitcoin's at $1 million? Probably. I don't even know if I'll be here. Depends on what that is. That like 10 years from now, or is that like the end of next year, like people are saying? Who knows? JP smiles. I feel like if we don't hit a strong leg in the next few weeks, then we might be done with this run. Now I think it comes down to that. Only time will tell. I can tell you this, I don't see us really going down as much as we did before, because there was no blow off top. There was no like massive, huge gains in very short amount of time. It was a steady incline. And as time goes on, I see it more and more. And that's why I make this comparison to gold. Because, I mean, gold had a nice little slow upward trend run once it hit ETF status. I think that could be the same thing. But who knows? Everybody's out here just making guesstimations, but we'll see. Anyhow, that's it for now, everybody. So sorry about the video quality, but we'll fix that tomorrow. But like tonight's video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.